This is not your favorite YouTuber's prediction video. Unless I'm your favorite YouTuber, which would kind of be insane because I'm still new here, but appreciate you. Today, I am going to try to make 10 bold WWE predictions and genuinely try to make them difficult. So if I go 0 for 10 when we look back at this video next year, it's because I tried to make them fucking difficult, right? I'm trying to throw some shit out there that probably won't happen for the most part. Most of these predictions probably won't happen. I maybe gave myself like a couple that, might be a single, but these are very, very difficult predictions to try to actually hit a home run on. So I'm going to try to not, I am not predicting that Randy Orton retires John Cena. That probably is what's going to happen. So I'm going to try to do 10 predictions that are relatively difficult to actually happen right now in 2024 to see. Let's get into the 10 predictions. The first one up is Carmelo Hayes retires John Cena. I definitely see this probably being Randy Orton, and while that would be great, Randy Orton is cemented, man. We don't have to do Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. We could really, really put over the young star of Carmelo Hayes if he is able to retire John Cena. He'll be the biggest heel. I would absolutely love it. I hope that he has a U.S. title run as well, but I would really love to see Carmelo Hayes be the guy that beats Cena. Obviously, we saw Melo, kind of do the ruthless aggression stuff. He's kind of had to come up very similar to John Cena. And I think also from Massachusetts, I definitely think that they're doing Melo versus Cena in 2025 for Cena's final tour. But I would think it would be even cooler if he is the guy to retire him. I know a lot of people think, if it's not Randy, it'll be Braun. But I think Carmelo Hayes makes so much more sense. Number 2, Dominic Mysterio turns babyface. I think that the crowd is beginning to really gravitate towards Dom. They really like Dom. And yeah, we may still get some boos because the crowd just still loves the act of booing somebody as loud as they can. And Dom is just kind of the vehicle for that. But once they find that other person to kind of do that with, I think that they are going to go back to, as this is leveling up to this love for Dom. And I think that Dom is going to be a babyface in 2025. I think it's probably after he gets his mullet cut off. I think that they're going to do a mask versus hair match against Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. And then I think that, he's going to become a little bit more of a serious wrestler, possibly even win Money in the Bank. I do see a singles title in his future. And I think by the end of 2025, Dominic Mysterio is straight up a babyface. Number 3, and this one is a bit of the easier one. Ricky Starks joins WWE. Ricky Starks is my guy. I love that lad. I cannot wait to see him I want to see him on television, whether that's the AEW, WWE, New Japan, wherever. I want to see Ricky Starks because I think that he has an insane amount of charisma. I think that he should legitimately be a major player in professional wrestling. And right now it feels like he is frozen, and I feel frozen. My heart is frozen. I need to unfreeze. I need to unthaw my heart. And that will be when Ricky Starks pops up in WWE when his contract ends in AEW. And I think that he will be a major star in WWE. I mean, honestly, Ricky Starks versus Cena, Ricky Starks versus Carmelo Hayes. I'm down with all of this. Now, you want to hear a difficult one that probably won't happen, but I'm really trying to go out on a limb here. Karrion Kross main events a pay-per-view. I'm not saying that it has to be, it's not going to be WrestleMania. It's not going to be SummerSlam. It's not going to be one of the big WrestleManias. But I see Karrion Kross kind of playing this role as a guy that can be anywhere on the card. Dolph Ziggler played this role, but it's very different. It's not more of an in-ring. It's more of a believability. It's a character. I guess probably you could better closely put this towards like Kane or somebody back in the day. But I think that Karrion Kross could play the guy that is in the main event losing to somebody like Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre or Gunther or whoever for the world title, CM Punk, John Cena. But I also could see him, being not on the pay-per-view or being the lowest person on the card or whatever. He just can kind of fill in wherever you need him to be. And I think that at some point in WWE, in one of the B or C pay-per-views, I think that he is going to be in a main event. It probably won't happen, but I am really trying to make these predictions like bold. I don't want to make 10 bold predictions and, it just kind of be some obvious shit just to get 10 out of 10. I want to try to make these hard. So Karrion Kross, main event and pay-per-view. I feel like that's pretty difficult to see in 2024. The next one up, Javon Evans wins the NXT World Championship. Now, I do see Javon Evans. He's already been in an NXT World title match, but Javon has still yet to even hold gold. And I think that everybody sees the trajectory being Javon Evans holding the North American Championship. While I do think that that definitely could happen and probably will happen in 2025, I think that that men's division is pretty depleted at the moment and not really seeing too many people that can kind of save that outside of if Ricky Starks comes in and he's coming into NXT, though I think that he should be on the main roster. I think it only feels like Obafemi. And while I think Obafemi will have that title for a while, I think the WWE is going to want to call him up still in 2025. And when that call up happens, I think Javon Evans is going to be the guy that beats him. And Javon Evans will be the world champion of NXT in 2025. And speaking of world champions, this one might be a little easier one. You could definitely see this happening. I think Sami Zayn becomes the world champion in 2025. I kind of hope that it's Cody's title, but whether it's the World Heavyweight Championship, whatever it is, I think Sami Zayn wins the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'll go even farther on a prediction and say that I think they will do it on Monday Night Raw. I think that they will do it on a Netflix episode of Raw. Sami Zayn wins the world title. I think they'll do it on a TV show. He has so many parallels to Mankind, to Mick Foley. And I think that will be the last kind of perfect parallel for him and Mick winning the title on Raw. This prediction is two predictions in one. I'll count this as two predictions, though. They are separate, but I think that the Street Profits are going to turn heel. I think that Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins are going to be extremely frustrated with how they have not been able to get it done on Raw or SmackDown, really. I think that they've had, two tag title runs, maybe one. I can't exactly remember. But Montez Ford is so much better than that, and he could be a major star. And Dawkins is super solid on his own. And I think that them turning heel would make a ton of sense. And that dives into my next prediction, where I believe that CM Punk turns heel in 2025. You're going to have all of these people from Netflix coming back and watching professional wrestling again. And they're going to know CM Punk as this dickhead, arrogant heel that you might kind of love, and that he is going to go back to being that character, and he is going to create a stable with Paul Heyman, with the Street Profits, with Cora Jade, with Roxanne Perez. I think that CM Punk creates a new major heel faction in 2025. I think that's maybe why they're not too worried about losing like the Judgment Day or something, because they know that on the horizon, they have their next major heel faction. Next one is extremely specific, but I think that Io Sky is going to create a takeover-like fan base, not NXT takeover. I mean, like, the crowd begins taking over parts of the show because they are rooting for Io Sky. It's very similar to when Becky Lynch with the man character just became like the biggest thing in wrestling. The Daniel Bryan taking over professional wrestling. CM Punk. I think that Io Sky is the next person to have that massive fan base takeover. And I think in 2025, she is going to have such a huge fan base rooting for her that it's going to begin to take over segments until she becomes the world champion. Staying on the subject of WWE and women, I think I seen this by Sean Ross Sapp. I think that he was the first one to kind of mention this, but I believe that an NXT wrestler will win the Royal Rumble, specifically will win the Women's Royal Rumble. There are so many to pick from, but that NXT women's roster right now is the best women's roster in wrestling, at least in North America. I don't want to be disrespectful to Stardom because I don't watch it 24/7, but it's the best in women's wrestling in North America, at least. And I think that there's a great way to put that shine and go, hey, we got some great stuff over here. That over there right now that we have is truly special. And I think that, they could do a main roster, winner goes and picks an NXT wrestler, like when Charlotte won and she picked Rhea Ripley, who was still in NXT. But I think it would be even cooler. And I think that it would make more sense and make that division feel even more special if you had an NXT wrestler win that Royal Rumble. Now, you have the likes of Julia. You could have Roxanne if you haven't called her up yet. You could have Cora Jade. You could have Jordan Grace. You could have Lash Legend. You could have Jada Parker. You could have Sol Ruka, Kalani Jordan, Stephanie Vaquer, Zarya. Do you see how I can just keep naming names? It's just there's just anyone. That roster is truly, truly insane. I think that it would be really cool to see them win the Royal Rumble and then pick the NXT Women's Championship to go after. And it would be really cool, genuinely, to put that match on WrestleMania. To go, actually, this is so big, it's not even going to be on TakeOver. It is going to be at WrestleMania. Or, actually, now that the gears are spinning a little bit, do it at TakeOver, right? Have that match go to a no decision for somehow, right? Go to a draw and go, you know what? We got to have a winner. We have to have a decisive winner. So we're going to have that match on night 1 of WrestleMania or night 2 of WrestleMania. That can be the second, third, fourth match or whatever, but have that match at WrestleMania. So that maybe that's even a bolder prediction that the NXT Women's Championship is defended at the WrestleMania pay-per-view. That's fucking good. God, I surprise myself sometimes. And you know what? Just to add a bonus one, just to call myself a liar, and it's no longer 10, we're going to add an 11th one. And we are going to say that Netflix acquisition of WWE, of Monday Night Raw, will make wrestling mainstream again. It's not going to compete with the NFL. It probably won't even compete with the NBA, but it's going to be pretty close to that. It's going to be probably bigger than the MLS or bigger than soccer in America. It is going to be one of the biggest talking points. It's going to be water cooler talk once again. It is going to be Game of Thrones type stuff. And I think that WWE is going to have an insane year in 2025. I truly think that Netflix partnership was just a genius idea. And I think that that is going to make WWE once again so massive. I mean, they're going to sell out every pay-per-view. They're going to be huge. So that's it. That's just a quick video talking about the 10 bold predictions, trying to go out on a limb, go out on the edge, and try to predict some shit that you can't really see happening in 2024, but in 2025, I think it could truly make wrestling special. I'll be dropping an AEW version of this as well, so stay tuned for that. But thank you guys for watching this. Deuces, I'm out.